Hello everybody, my name is Jason Pyne, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my 4 book recommendations for July 2021. One disclaimer before starting this video is currently I mostly read nonfiction books, so most of the recommendations in this video will be nonfiction, and yeah, let's get started. The first book recommendation I have is called Alibaba and the House That Jack Ma Built. It's a really interesting book. I really definitely recommend it. What I find interesting about this book is about Jack Ma's career as a businessman in China and just some of the things that he had to go through in order to start Alibaba. In case you're unaware, Alibaba is an e-commerce site in China. And yeah, it's just a really interesting story. I would definitely recommend picking up the book. It's a nonfiction book, and yeah, great book. The second book recommendation I have for you is called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And a lot of this book has to do with habit building and creating good habits. But what I find so interesting about this one in particular is the idea of the compound effect is it takes a while to get those good habits going, or to essentially get Big Mo, as he calls it, get it started. And he uses several different examples about how it takes a lot of time and energy to get a train going, as an example, but once the train gets going, it just, it's full speed ahead. And there's a lot of examples like that in the book, and how you can apply it to habit building and other types of good things in life that you can multiply and go from there. One other quick thing about the compound effect that he talks about in the book, which I found really interesting, is he talks about how over a certain period of time when you're just starting, you're not going to see results right away as you start to build that habit, that new thing that you want to start doing. But over time, as long as you stick with it and you keep the consistency, it'll really start to pick up over time, and you'll really start to see those results that you were really excited about when you first started. And I found this really interesting because one of the things I get trapped in sometimes is the habit of starting and then stopping, then starting, then stopping. And I think it's really important that if you start something, you should stick with it and continue on. So yeah, I definitely recommend The Compound Effect, reading a lot of the interesting stuff that Darren Hardy talks about in the book, and go from there. The third book that I have for you is called Principles by Ray Dalio. And as you can tell from the bookmark, I'm still reading this one, but I've talked about this book before, and it's really interesting. It's divided up into 3 parts. The first part consists of Ray Dalio's career and his story. The second part is life principles, and the third part is work principles. And what's so interesting about the second part of this book is in life principles, Dalio talks a lot about the brain and neuroscience and psychology and how the brain works. And I found this really interesting because up until starting reading principles, I had never read a book on psychology or how the brain works or different parts of the brain. But he also talks about his career in the business world, which is also really interesting. Just generally a really interesting book, interesting person. I definitely recommend this one. This is one of my favorites right now. The last book recommendation I have for you today is Wise as F by Gary John Bishop. I don't actually want to say the word, but Gary John Bishop is one of my favorite authors. He has a way of wording things and telling it like it is, like no other self-help book author I've read thus far. And when I was going through a really hard time a while back, I read one of his books called Stop Doing That Shit, and it really helped me and gave me a perspective that I hadn't had before, and just helped me be a better person. And this book takes it to a whole nother level. It's a really good book. I really enjoyed it. But if you haven't read his previous 2 books, I would start with those, because this one kind of builds upon the work in the other 2. He talks a lot about different stuff that we all deal with. And again, he has a way of wording things that is just really interesting, and he tells it like it is, and I highly recommend it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun making this one. Comment down below what you're reading right now. I'd really like to know. I'm always looking for good book recommendations or something interesting to read. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I will talk to you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.